merhaba, Turkey in English kanalımıza hoş geldiniz. Bugünkü konumuz Türkiye'nin Çin'den getirdiği koronavirüs aşıları olacak. Bu aşılamanın önemini ve Türkiye'deki reaksiyonunu konuşacağız. Bugünkü konuğumuz Yasin Eken. Kendisine çok teşekkür ederiz. Gün boyu Başakşehir Çam ve Sakura Hastanesi'nde aşılama işlemlerini takip etti. Evet, başlayalım. Ubeyde abi, will you get vaccinated? And Yasin, aşı olacak mısın?
If they give me a turn, I'll try and get my whole family vaccinated.
I thought it would be easier to say yes or no. It's not that easy. I guess it depends on which vaccine, I guess, yeah?
Yeah, that's another question.
Damn it, man.
What did
I mean,
you
essentially, I like the science says do it, but you know, people, they make decisions based on fear and emotions, and that part of me is saying, yeah, just wait on it, maybe.
I don't know if you have an option to wait. You're a journalist, and you were there today. You saw it. They were giving, you know, the medical workers, I guess, are the first ones at the top of the list, you know, to get the vaccine. So, but I mean, from what I can tell, that it's really important that people get the vaccine because the virus is like out of control. And as much as like health, like the health system, whether it's in Turkey or anywhere else in the world, can like keep up with treating these people who are really, really sick. I don't know if it's actually going to be possible to do it without some help from something like a vaccine. There's several vaccines out there. I don't think there's only one. So there's a lot of information to understand, I guess, before you make an informed decision.
True, but you do raise a good point. You said, do you have the luxury to make that choice? You know, we are practically high risk. It's a really good question. And today I spent most of the time in the hospital, and the people that are getting vaccinated first are the doctors. So you look at the general people who are considering the vaccine, and I'm talking about just your everyday Joe, right? And they're not keen on the idea of getting vaccinated. But you look at the doctors, and they're all in line. It's not even a question of should I or should I not. It's like, guys, I don't have another choice. It's the only option. And if you take that into consideration, then yeah, I'd probably get vaccinated as well.
Onur abi,
Buyur abi.
can you explain in Turkish whether you're going to take the vaccine or not? Aşı yaptıracak mısın?
Abi ben aşı yaptıracağım. Çünkü biliyorsun gazeteciler aslında sağlık personellerinden daha tehlikeli. Çünkü biz çekim için her yere gidiyoruz, her ortama giriyoruz. Mesela hastaneye gidiyoruz, hastanede çekim yapıyoruz. Oradan gidip siyasi partilerde çekim yapıyoruz. Oradan gidip Cumhurbaşkanlığında çekim yapıyoruz. Oradan gidip başka bakanlıklarda çekim yapıyoruz. Hani biz biraz daha taşıyıcı pozisyonundayız. Bu yüzden 100% sure I'll get vaccinated. And today we asked the officials to give us the chance to be vaccinated in a short time.
How many vaccines are Turkey planning on trying?
Realistically, we're looking at 3 vaccines. So we do have the vaccine from China, which is the Coronavac, or sorry, you know, I've been
I don't know all their names.
Hold up. Let me take a look at my notes for a real sec.
China, this Corona.
Sinovac.
Sorry?
Sinovac or Sinovac.
No, that's the manufacturer.
Have Coronavac?
I think that was it, right? Like I've been doing, like I did a package on this just before I left the office, and I left the office not too long ago.
By the way, do you see my screen? I'm taking notes.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was, what is it, Corona?
Oh yeah, so there's a Coronavac and a Sinovac.
Sinovac is the manufacturer. Just give me a quick second. I want to take a look at my script. I just want to take a real quick look at my script.
Yeah, it's Coronavac.
Right,
Yeah.
Coronavac. Yeah.
The second one, German Pfizer.
German Pfizer, yeah.
And the third one, I don't know.
Pfizer Biotech. What is it? Bionet? Biotech?
BioNTech.
Pfizer, BioNTech, they're working together, and that's actually what we're looking at right now. We're looking at the Coronavac. We're looking at the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, and then we're looking at the Turkish-made vaccine. And based on what the Turkish president and a number of officials from the Ministry of Health said,
Yeah,
sometime towards the summer, we could have a realistic goal of actually putting that into play in Turkey as well.
So this is a good opportunity to put all these different variations of the word vaccine down, you know, because we have like vaccine, vaccinated, vaccinations, right? Each one
Vaccinator.
of them, vaccinator. No, I don't know what they call the person who jabs you. Let's put that word too, jab.
Jab. That's a new one, right?
Yeah, I saw some people using it, and I actually read it in a headline for I forgot which publication, and they actually used it in their headline, and I was really surprised. But I guess it's just a way of saying somebody giving you a shot, right? Because it's like really kind of like an in and out kind of job. It's quick and easy, apparently.
Yeah, just like an actual jab, 1-2. And I think the reason why they call it that is because they refer to as, I think, first jab, or
two. Yeah, you're supposed to get 2 shots, basically.
Yeah.
So today's words are vaccine, aşı, vaccination, aşılama, get vaccinated, aşı yaptırma.
Excellent. And then you could put jab or shot. These are all adjectives, basically, of getting vaccinated, you know?
What is that?
Yeah, getting shot.
I'm getting the shot, you know, like a shot, S-H-O-T.
Can you
There's
please?
injection, right? Injection is the other one. Shot, jab, injection.
Jab,
Yeah, shot, injection
injection.
with the E, injection.
Uh-huh.
And shot as in like, this guy shot me. Or I shot him.
I don't know this word.
All of these words in this context, when you're talking about like having a needle inject something into your body, you know, like a vaccination, all of those three words, they all mean the same thing.
Aşılama.
Jab, injection, and shot.
All these means vaccination.
Yeah, all of it means getting something injected into your body, including a vaccination.
Are these get vaccinated or vaccination?
Yo, yeah, Yasin, can you explain it to him in Turkish? Or explain it for everyone to benefit in Turkish. You understand me, right?
Of course. So, arkadaşlar, jab, injection, shots,
they're all adjectives.
eş anlamlı kelimeler bunlar. Birbirinden çok farklı değil. Kullanım alanları biraz değişebiliyor. Ama mesela to take a shot, whether you're taking a shot of tequila, whether you're taking a shot of cocaine or heroin, or heroin or whatever.
Şeyler olması lazım.
Nasıl?
Take a shot of milk. Hani
okay, let's do this again. So basically, what we're looking at is when you take a shot of something, you can be taking a shot of milk, right? Keeping it kosher here. And I identically,
I have
taking in something to your body. And
yeah,
what you're doing is
in your body.
Basically, that is the case. And when you're taking an injection or a vaccination, you're shooting something into your body, like a vaccine.
Onur abi, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example.
I got.
I'll give you an example.
I couldn't get the word for Turkish.
I have an exercise that I think will help, and Yasin will be able to explain, and I think it will help. The typical conversation would go like this, and if you want, you can type it down. Okay. Hi, how are you today? I'm going to the doctor today. Oh, why are you going to the doctor today? I'm going to get a shot. Oh,
Yeah.
what kind of shot is it? Oh, I'm getting the coronavirus vaccine. You understand me? I'm getting vaccinated.
I'm getting my vitamin B shots, my
Or
tetanus
you
shot.
could replace, yeah, the vaccination with any other kind of injection. I'm sorry, diabetes. I'm so sorry to all the diabetes patients out there, and I hope you all stay healthy and well. It's like diabetes patients who have to give themselves a shot every day, or they have to inject themselves with insulin. I guess is what they inject themselves with. So that's how you use the word shot. And maybe if Yasin wants to explain it now in Turkish, it will be useful, you know?
It definitely would.
I am going
Get a shot today.
I'm going to get
hospital to get a
Shot.
shot. So the next question would be, what shot? What are you getting? Right? Exactly.
well,
Yeah, that's a good way to put it into context.
Çok kısa bir diyalog. Hastaneye gidiyorum. Neden gidiyorsun? Türkçe karşılığı, şimdi şöyle bir şey de var. İngilizce'deki bazı
I will get
I will get a shot.
I will get
I'm going to get a shot.
No, what shot? What are you getting? I will get my coronavirus vaccine.
Yeah.
I will
Or
get
insulin.
shot. I will get my corona vaccine. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Basically.
Yeah.
Şimdi
Yani
şöyle bir
ne anlama
önemli bir
geliyor
mevzu
Yasin?
var.
Bunları açıklayabilir misin abi?
Çok basit bir açıklaması var. Şimdi biz dil öğrenirken ya da özellikle İngilizce konusunda Türkçe düşünüp İngilizce konuşmaya çalışınca zorluk çekiyoruz. Çünkü İngilizce'deki bazı kelimelerin Türkçe karşılığı olmuyor. Birebir olmuyor. Ama ne var mesela? Ona benzer kelimeler. Mesela what shot, what are you getting? I will get a shot, I will get my corona vaccine shot, right? Buradaki shot kelime anlamıyla itibariyle aşı, aşılamak, şutlamak hesabı değil de yani tam anlamıyla ama aşılamak. Birebir karşılığı, anlam karşılığı o olur. Çünkü İngilizce'deki bazı kelimelerin Türkçe karşılığı olmuyor. Türk dili öyle bir dil ki birçok dilden artık ilham mı aldı diyeyim. İşte Arapçadan, Farsçadan, Fransızcadan vesaire vesaire. Ama Türk Dil Kurumu mesela İngilizceye gelince daha katı bir tutum sergiliyor ve özellikle bazı kelimelerin Türkçe'ye geçmesini engelliyor. Ama kısacası birebir karşılığı yoksa en yakın çok mantıksal bir hesap yaparak buna en yakın kelime karşılığı nedir diyerekten aşılamak.
Yani o zaman I will get a shot, aşı yaptıracağım. I will get my corona vaccine, koronavirüs aşımı yaptıracağım.
Aynen öyle, aşı
O
anlamına
zaman
geliyor.
şu şekilde de diyebiliriz.
Yeah, I will get a shot is unnecessary, you know, because it's the same. An injection is what it means. When you're getting a shot, it means you're getting an injection, and then the second detail basically is like I'm getting like a coronavirus vaccine, or am I getting the smallpox vaccine, or am I getting the chickenpox vaccine? You know, polio vaccine. You could replace that anywhere. You know what I mean?
Okay, how can I use jab? I will get
So jab, I will get my first coronavirus jab.
No, in this sentence, can I say I will get a jab?
Yeah, I will get my first jab.
Should I use first or just
No,
jab?
I will get a jab if you want,
Okay,
but
no.
You
it
can
makes
say the jab as well.
I want to use the words in the same sentence because of that. I will get a shot, I will get an injection, I will get a jab.
yeah, I'll get a jab of coronavirus vaccine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bugünün kelimeleri o zaman vaccine, vaccination, get vaccinated, get a job.
Yeah.
We are always using these words with get, right?
With jab, you can also refer to as receiving a jab. For example, Turkish doctors receive first jab.
Yeah.
Get a job.
Receive
Or
first jab, like Yasin said.
receive
Receive
jab.
or received first jab, received a jab, or received first jab. Yeah,
Get injection.
it's a verb. It's definitely an adverb. You know, it explains an action and
Yes.
it gives it, you know, extra meaning in the
Abi,
context.
please, during our sessions, we don't give anything about grammar. Because grammar, how to say, lanet olasıca grammar, o anlamda kullanıyorum fuck'ı. Grammar fucked our life, you know? Lanet oldu, lanet etti.
You know what's interesting is, I don't know, Obayda, you might be able to relate to this.
You have to beep that out, bro, so we don't get
Definitely
banned from YouTube.
Yo, you might be able to relate to this. Growing up in Canada, in the school system, we didn't get any grammar until like a specific grade, or until we were like old. Basically, until we had enough fundamental knowledge and a solid infrastructure and basis in the language. So we acquire the language before we learn it. You see me?
Yeah, I mean, for native speakers of any language, like grammar is almost inconsequential, because like it's something that they learn in their environments with their families and their social circles. Like and language is something you pick up, you know, as you grow older. Now the grammar side of it, I'm sure there's uses for it. I'm not trying to like make grammar to be something like that's irrelevant, but what I'm saying is,
come on,
like,
you're a journalist.
if you want to learn grammar, then you really have to like learn the language that you're trying to use grammar in. Even like I speak Arabic fluently, but if you ask me anything about Arabic grammar, I'm not going to be able to tell you anything about Arabic grammar, right? And even if you ask Turkish people about Turkish grammar, they can't explain it to you. They just tell you this is the way it is, you know?
The question is, why are you learning English grammar when you're trying to learn that language, right?
Yeah.
Well, it could help in some ways, and it depends really on the goals you want to achieve as a student of another language, right? It really depends on how well you want to speak the language, in what format you want to use the language. It also depends on who you want to speak with, because in English, for example, you wouldn't speak in the same way that you would in the courtroom, right, as you would in the streets or when you were talking to your friends. Two completely different languages. Onur and I were looking at some text together the other day about what were we looking at yesterday, Onur?
Yes.
It was very technical.
What's up?
WhatsApp, and it was like legal words and really technical terminology. Even in Turkish and English, I didn't understand anything. In Turkish, we didn't understand anything.
I get anything.
So it really depends. Like grammar is one of those things that's always useful to have some context to it. But when you're trying to speak to somebody, if you speak to them and they understand you, and you get the idea that you're trying to get across to them, most likely you're doing it the right way, you know?
Abi, biz Türklerin en büyük sıkıntısı şu. Hani hiçbir işte böyle değiliz dil haricinde. Dil konusunda sanki mükemmel konuşmamız gerekiyor. Sanki pronunciation'ın mükemmel olması gerekiyor. Yani we don't care about to give the message what we want to explain. We have to let's say use the correct word. For example, if we can't let's say remember this black.
You can't say cunt.
Why? Abi, I'm from Çankırı, you know. Can't.
Please go on.
Hani we don't want to use, if we don't remember black, we don't try to explain this in another way. For example, we don't think about to describe this the bag on the table. we automatically think about black, what was it, what was it, what was it? Hani kendimizi kapatıyoruz. Halbuki anlatabileceğimiz nice yollar var. Hani bizim buradaki en büyük amacımız da o. Karşı tarafa vermek istediğimiz mesajı doğru kelimelerle anlatmaktan ziyade, hani tabii ki o çok güzel olur da anlatabilmek önemli. Bu kapsamda hani yapmamız gereken tek şey talk.
Yeah, talking is the most useful way, I think, about getting over this. Even the anxiety, you described some anxiety about it. And I think talking regularly with that language you're trying to learn is the best way to get over that anxiety. And that's how I learned the little bit of Turkish that I learned, is basically talking to people. Even though probably I would have made some use out of actually sitting with a book and a classroom and a teacher, but the most Turkish I learned was from, conversing with people. Allah
Like
shukr.
So
People like
abi, I will ask the next.
People like Faruk. Faruk should be a guest. Faruk should be a guest on our program.
You'd be a guest of honor. That's what I'm telling you, man.
Yes, absolutely.
Ondan
We
sonra
wouldn't be able to.
Rütük kanalı kapatsın direkt.
That's basically what I'm saying. Yeah.
So abi, eğer şansınız
Look.
olsa, eğer seçim
taking-
şansınız olsa, Türk aşısı
Yeah.
mı, Alman aşısı mı, Çin aşısı mı?
Çok derin bir yerden girdin ama sen de.
If you have an, how to say, if you have a chance to choose one of these vaccines, which one?
Abi şu Alman aşısı zaten Türk aşısı. Yani o doktor Türk oldu yani. Doktor ve
Boş ver.
Türkler yani zaten. Ve
But the
o
money is German, bro. The money is
araştırma-
German.
Abi ürün yerleştirmesi yapma hani.
onların araştırma zaten. It's their own research. The Pfizer's role, I believe, and I don't know, I have read a little bit about it, but not too much. But Pfizer's role is more about the production, to scale the production, you know?
Abi don't forget that.
The research is belonging to the Turkish doctors.
Don't forget that. Yasin is from Canada, and he's Canadian. Because of being Canadian, does not make TRT as a Canada company, you know?
But I'll tell you what, man. It's German money. All right.
Yeah.
There's
I get-
a good thing in Turkish. Parayı veren düdüğü çalar, right? Like whoever pays the piper gets to
Yasin
play the
bunu
tune.
nasıl? Bunu nasıl?
The one that they took today, is the Chinese one or the German one?
Chinese.
Who? Chinese, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they're starting with the Chinese, if the Turkish government is deciding to start with the Chinese vaccine, then they must believe that the Chinese vaccine works, or at least they believe that it works well enough that they're going to start giving it to the people who are at the highest risk, because they need something to protect them. Because it's really, really bad, the situation. But I think the media is not really helping too much to kind of like help the public understand really what's happening. Unfortunately, the media is playing kind of like a negative role in this regard, because there's so many people's lives who have been impacted, right? And the way this virus works, and they have to do contact tracing to chase people down because of exactly how the virus works. So the people closest to the virus are the ones who are most affected, and those are the medical workers and the medical workers' families and the people who are dealing with this crisis every single day, the people who are managing the crisis, right? And I think the problem is really big, and they need to get to the bottom of it. So if they have to give out 1 million Chinese viruses and figure out if it works, then I volunteer, you know, they can come and give it to me.
Abi,
You see what I mean?
for these Chinese vaccines, Turkey Health Ministry did the laboratory check on this vaccination yesterday. When they get the approval from the committee or delegation, I don't know which word do you use for this committee. When they get the approval, the first one who was vaccinated was the health minister. He did.
Yeah, I saw that. Health minister last week, I think it was.
No,
a few days ago.
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday. Oh, I thought it was earlier than yesterday.
At the end of, I think it was 28th of last month, at the end of the year, the vaccines had arrived in Turkey, and
They've got to do
they
something.
did
Hopefully it
a
works.
laboratory check, and when they get the approval, and today Turkish president got vaccinated as well.
Yeah, sure. I trust what the Turkish government is doing right now. They've managed this crisis like better or as good as any other country in the entire world, because I have lots of family members and other people listening and watching, and you guys know people living in other countries, and the situation is bad everywhere for everyone. I have two brothers that are doctors, so I in America actually, and the situation is just bad. So they need to fix the problem. My kids need to go to the park and play. We need fresh air. We need our lives to go back to normal.
Speaking of normal, look, I spoke to one of the doctors. I interviewed him at the hospital that I visited. Sorry?
Turkey sends 20.000 vaccines to Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus.
Yeah.
So you spoke to a doctor?
Yeah, I'm just going to read you a little bit that I use in one of my stories, and he actually talks about, you know, if we ever want to return to our normal lives, he says, "quote I think everyone needs to get vaccinated." So there's two things here. The first one is, he says he got his appointment, the first opportunity he had. The vaccine, he says, has an effectiveness rate of about 60%. And has a protectiveness rate of about 90%. So when you hear something like this, you start questioning and wondering what this really means. And when they say something like an effectiveness rate of 50, 60, 70, 80, 90%, what we're actually talking about is how effective it is in preventing severe symptoms of the coronavirus or whatever disease or virus you're trying to treat. But generally speaking, if you look at the protectiveness rate of the vaccine, the Chinese vaccine, and that added, we're looking at around 90%. And these are based on findings that these doctors have come up with themselves. This could be.
One of my brothers, both of them doctors in America. One of them got vaccinated, and you know they're doctors, so they automatically get, you know, offered the vaccination. The other one said no. So everyone has like a different opinion, right? And it's just one of those things. Like it depends on how much you feel like you want to protect yourself, I think, at this point, because it's been so long, right? So everyone has had like an opportunity to adjust. Everyone's wearing masks and disinfecting and doing these kinds of things. Some people are just not even doing that. They're just ignoring it. A lot of people actually, right? So I don't know, man. It's kind of an interesting thing. I hope they give it to more people so we can just get on with our lives, because this is just
Definitely.
I feel like it's taken on so much of our lives. It's just overwhelming almost.
So it has, but I think, if I may,
That's why we're sitting here on Zoom doing this, you know. We can thank coronavirus for this.
At the end of the day, what was your decision? Will you get vaccinated, Yasin?
No.
Before I will give you my answer, but before I get to that, what I really want to say is, you know, what do people think when we say vaccine? Because based on what I've observed from what people have been saying, generally speaking, they think when you say vaccine that it's this magical cure that will prevent you from getting the virus at all. But what people don't realize is vaccines basically is a tool to prevent you from becoming really, really, really sick. It's really just managing the issue at hand. So I think as soon as people realize and come to the realization that this vaccine is not a magical cure, but it's just a method of basically preventing you from dying, at least trying to keep you alive, even if that's 50, 60%. Compared to maybe other vaccines, that's pretty low. But if you look at the reality that we are in right now, we are in Turkey. The Turkish vaccine is still months away based on what the Turkish health ministry says. We still have come to an understanding or agreement with Germany regarding their vaccine. And it really comes down to what Obeda said earlier, is do we have the luxury? And if you take all of that into account, if you think about it in a pragmatist kind of way, then yes, I would take that vaccine. It's not a matter of do I want to. It's a matter of do I have the luxury? And the question is, I don't have that luxury. So yeah,
So you say yes.
yes.
Ubeyd abi?
Yeah, I will take it, man. If they told me to take it, I will say yes.
Okay.
I'll
Which
try
one?
and get some extra ones.
Okay, which one? Just tell me which one. Always
I'll
Chinese.
take I'll take the Chinese one because that's what the one we're doing here in Turkey. So if I get an opportunity to take one, I will take it.
Let's imagine we are in April and Turkish vaccine already produced.
I'll take the Turkish one too, man. If it was available and I could take it. I don't know. I would take any of them at this point, right?
Tamam, April, imagine. Yasin?
We're assuming that April we get the Turkish vaccine.
Okay.
We're assuming we don't get it by the time it's April and that we're.
I mean, look. Yeah, I definitely go for the Turkish vaccine. But I feel like my decision here is being clouded by quite a few other things as well. But I wouldn't necessarily mind getting the Chinese vaccine because I also think, like Obeda said earlier, the media plays a real important role here. When you think China, you think cheap, you think knockoff, you think it's just trying to take your money away. But here's a wake-up call for people who don't know China and who have never been to China. You know, especially considering that China is competing with the United States, especially with respect to big pharma. I just don't see how it is feasible or at least theoretically possible for them to screw something up like this.
I mean, they tried something after it popped up over there, and it worked for a short time. They've had they had their first death in like 8 months, I think, or something like that. So I mean, they figured out what to do really quick. I don't want to go into details about that because there's too much to talk about in that regard. But at this point, this is like the fate of the world, you know. Like people are because a lot of people are underestimating the fact that there are people sick in bed, people who have died, family members who have lost their loved ones. Like this thing has taken people away from the world in a very short amount of time in a very abnormal way. So
I've seen people begging to die, begging the doctors to kill them.
Yeah, it's not a normal thing. So I think people are underestimating it, and I think everyone's responsible, you know, for themselves. So people should decide: am I gonna be the one who gives the virus to somebody else? Maybe I won't get sick, but they're gonna end up dying. So people have to take that into consideration.
They also need to take into consideration the fact that taking the vaccine, getting the shot, does not necessarily mean that you will not be a carrier or spreader.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions about how the vaccine works and how the virus works in the first place.
Yeah. Sorry?
Vaccination just reduces the chance of being carrier or daha zor atlatmak. I don't know how to say this.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Daha ağır semptom, yani aynen daha hafif atlatmanı sağlıyor. Mesele senin
Nasıl
aşı yaptırdın.
daha ağır atlatmak İngilizce'de?
Efendim?
Daha ağır atlatmak nasıl söyleriz İngilizce'de?
I need to put that into context. So the idea is that you take the vaccine so you prevent severe symptoms.
Severe symptoms.
Yeah.
Yeah, to prevent severe symptoms, yeah.
Çünkü millet şunu unutmamalı. Aşı yaptırdım demek bulaşıcı ve taşıyıcı değilim anlamına gelmiyor. Especially with respect to the fact that the coronavirus really likes the receptors in our nose, the mucosal membrane in our nose and our mouth. So what this means is even if you do get the vaccine and you're immune to the virus, which means the virus is not killing you, the virus is still there. And if it's in those membranes where it likes to chill and hang out, just one little sneeze can infect, however many people are in the room.
Yep.
Arkadaşlar her şey için çok teşekkürler. Çok verimli bir buluşma oldu. Umarım bunları daha sık şekilde yapmaya devam ederiz. Bugünün kelimelerine bakacak olursak bu kelimeler, bu kelimeleri cümle içinde kullanımına Twitter hesabımız üzerinden yapacağız. Herkese iyi akşamlar.
İyi akşamlar.
See ya.